Welcome to today's live training, How to Stop Negative Thoughts, Part 2. I'm really excited to be here with you and very grateful that you're here. So we're going to do a few things today. We're going to review some of last week's points for the training, and then today we're going to dive deep down into the mind-body connection. Just to summarize at a high level, remember, your brain is a supercomputer, right? If you don't tell it what to do, it will program you, all right? And your reactions to stress are pre-programmed. And the default settings are older than dirt, literally from the caveman era, all right? So I want you to keep that in mind. Your brain's a supercomputer, and if you don't tell it what to do, it will program you, all right? Then we went through a couple of things of, what can you do? And I think the most important thing to start out with is knowing your triggers, right? We talked about if being on social media triggers you with negative thoughts, watching the news, being in school in the cafeteria, where do your negative thoughts come into play? Where do they really start, right? What are you doing? Where are you? Understanding the day and time of the week, your activities or inactivity, more importantly. Usually it might be like when we're laying around not doing anything, when we really start to get flooded with that. And if you think about it, if you find that you are getting flooded with those cortisol thoughts, I got to get out of here, I can't take it, I'm a loser, never going to make it, nothing ever changes, why me, right? If you find that you're having those thoughts when you're inactive, that could be the cortisol in your brain telling you to be more active, right? To engage in life. We're here with 7.7 billion other people. We didn't come here to be alone. We didn't come here to be inactive. You have a ton of gifts inside of you, right? And the action and looking inside and finding those gifts and playing with them and expressing them is really what brings a lot of joy. I know that's what brings me a lot of joy. So, and that switches gears, kind of like going into the dopamine thoughts. So really bringing your more awareness to the situation and more consciousness and knowing and identifying where you are, what time of day, what time of week, what types of activities, who you're with when those negative thoughts kick in. It might be at night when you're trying to go to sleep. Also wanted to share something that I don't think I talked about last week, the Stress Is Gone mobile app that predicts your stress and helps you stop negative thoughts by using the stopper tab. So if you download the Stress Is Gone mobile app, it's on Android and it's for iPhone, and it has a lot of functionality in it. But if you go to the bottom left, there's a little stop sign icon. That's the stopper tab. You answer the questions for routine stress. Routine stress is like the stress that happens day in and day out, week in and week out. We are creatures of habit, and our stress, there's a pattern to it. So the stopper tab helps you become aware of your patterns, but more importantly, it sends you a guided meditation 3 minutes before your stress triggers. And if you answer the questions with your negative thinking in mind, then it's going to warn you 3 minutes before your negative thinking kicks in, right? So I want you to think about that. Science tells us we have between 10 and 60, some studies say 80,000 thoughts in a day. That's incredible, right? A lot of studies are pointing to the fact that 80% of those thoughts are negative and 95% are repetitive. We really are creatures of habit, and there is a pattern to identify. So the app will help you do that. We also talked about some of the stress cycle, right? And we talked about stress really begins with a trauma. And often this might happen in our formative years, right? Between 0 and 10. When that experience happens, that trauma happens, right? We can't just move on with life if the trauma is always in our conscious mind. So what does the brain do? The brain, remember from last week, it's self-organizing, self-repairing, and programmed to survive. So it takes that trauma, that memory, right? It looks at the subconscious, it finds the subconscious closet, and it puts that memory in the subconscious closet, right? The only thing is it compresses the memory first. It imprints all the emotions right? Compresses all the emotions into the memory, and then it represses the memory. So it's nice and skinny like a pizza cardboard box, and then it loads it into the closet. A belief forms. The belief that forms is like a guiding principle that helps us guide through the environment and navigate through the environment. The issue is the belief ends up over triggering our stress reaction, and that trauma fuels it with painful emotions and negative thoughts. That is one of the sources of negative thoughts, okay? Original traumas. Now, we don't get into the beliefs and traumas in this training, but guess where we're going in part 3 of how to stop negative thoughts? We're going to get to the source, okay? So it was a little foreshadow there, all right? Also, we talked about how our brain is programmed to survive, and it's got to be scared to death because all it keeps on doing is over triggering our stress reaction day in and day out, sending us the cortisol into all parts of our body so we can survive. It feels we are in a major survival situation, and that's how our brain is choosing to get us out of it, by flooding us with the cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone, right? It's almost like our brain is like that super overprotective parent that doesn't let you do anything, and like you want to just go out and be free and have fun, and it's like, you know, it's just traumatizing, and they keep you from living your best life. That's what our brain is doing. It's super overprotective. It's super scared of the environment. So what's the answer? And if you saw last week's training, you know the answer. Be your own dope dealer, right? Dopamine, the happy hormone. Why wait for someone else to make you happy? Pull the lever yourself. You could do it. So we talked about the brain having this old default, right? That it defaults to cortisol from the caveman eras. Actions override the brain's default. Your actions will override your brain's default. Okay, you can make your brain do what you want it to do. You can make your brain tell your adrenals to secrete dopamine. Okay, you can do that. You have the power with your actions. So we talked about 5 actions that will help your brain activate dopamine production in your body. All right, that'll actually tell your brain to do that. So we talked about music, being in the sun, meditation, exercise, and stress stopper breath work. For me, my secret, my dopamine machine is combining a few of them together. Okay? So what I like to do is make a playlist of my 5 top favorite dance songs of all time. If I'm not feeling good or I'm feeling a little bit down, I'll put that on and I will dance like no one is looking, and I will sing like the world does not have ears. Okay? So I'm completely free in my favorite songs. Right? So what am I combining? So if we look at the dopamine, what stimulates dopamine production: music, sun, meditation, exercise, stress stopper breath work. So I'm combining music, I'm combining exercise because I'm dancing. I'm also throwing in expressing myself if I'm singing, right? That's stimulating the vagus nerve, which activates the relaxation response. And then in between lines in this song, I'll also throw in a few mantras that I know are true. The one that I feel you'll get the most out of is I am alive. So if you're dancing to your 5 favorite songs and singing along, dancing along, and you're just in the moment, you'll be free. You'll be identifying with your spirit, not your negative thinking. Dopamine will be produced. And if you add in that mantra, I am alive. That's one of my favorite ones because it's undoubtedly true. No one can tell me that I'm not alive right now because I know I'm alive and I know you're alive. So if you're doing something that activates dopamine, it brings it to the next level. It's like the icing on the cake, right? To throw in a mantra in between the lines, in between the hook, in between the verses of the song, or just have it going in the back of your mind. Also saying, thank you, God, for the moment. Thank you for this feeling, right? Because it is very freeing. So it's really getting into the moment. And now what I want to do is just switch gears a little bit and start to get into the mind-body connection. Just to keep in mind, we have tens of thousands of thoughts every single day. Never identify with something so fickle, right? The thoughts are just like clouds passing across the sky, right? Imagine a cell tower sending and receiving millions and millions of messages everywhere all day long. What is the cell tower? Is it a huge metal structure with advanced technology that helps us communicate? Or is it the messages that are being sent and received? It's the huge structure with advanced technology. You are a human being. You are not the thoughts. The cell tower is not the messages being sent and received. It's the structure. It is what it is. You are what you are. You're a human being. Okay? So remember that. Don't identify with the thoughts. If you identify with your thoughts, they will always bring you down. Identify with your spirit and you will be free. You know, think about your mind like it's your Facebook feed, right? And if you just started scrolling down your feed and looking, it's all other people's crap, right? It's all other people's posts. It's not yours. It's not you. And if you just scroll down and look at everybody else's stuff, you lose yourself. It's so important. I really want you to get this understanding. When you focus on your thoughts, you lose yourself. And I want you to gain yourself, your true nature, your own divine essence. So we have to put a few things in perspective. So our thoughts are meant to help frame our environment for future use, right? Think about the caveman days, right? Go over to a tree, feel it, tree's hard. But then you feel a rock and you're like, ooh, the rock's harder, right? You feel the dirt, dirt's soft, right? You feel the grass and a flower, that's softer. So the idea is the next time we walk through that area, our brains know what's what, kind of puts things together, kind of frames the environment. But living in this time, in the information age, given the state of humanity, we absorb so much of other people's crap that's not ours. It affects how we think, how we feel. It floods our brain with the 10 to 60 or 80,000 thoughts a day that 95% are repetitive and 80% are negative. Okay? The challenge of this life is that we're in a body that has its own massive memory, its own robust defense system, and it's crushing us right now. Check out all the things that we have to move through and process and let go of. Each family has its own issues. Yes or no? Does your family have issues? My family has issues, right? We all do. So a family has issues that every member absorbs. Some issues are so deep they get passed down from generation to generation and affect DNA. We have communities that have issues that affect people in that community in unique ways. Then we have societal issues that have unique effects on every single member. And then we have global issues that have unique effects on every person. Do you see all the layers that we have to break through to get to the real you? There's a ton of stuff that we got programmed with. The only time we're not coming from some type of programming is when we're coming from a place of inspiration, expression, sometimes being spontaneous in the moment. When's the last time you did that? When's the last time you really expressed yourself? When's the last time you were inspired to do something and you said yes? Most of us have that inspiration. We're like, oh no, I got to do this, I got to do that. There's a laundry list of excuses why not to do fun stuff that will activate dopamine. So let's switch gears, get into our exercises. Right now, I invite you to close your eyes. So take a moment and do that. Using just your mind, I want you to imagine moving your right arm any way you want. Just imagine moving your right arm in some fashion that you want. Some way you want to move it. Once you identified what that movement is, I want you to open your eyes. Now look at your right arm and move it exactly how you saw it in your mind. Once you're done, I want you to answer this question. Are you your body or the thing that decides how to move it? Are you your body or the thing that decides how to move it? And if you could answer that question, I would love to know what you think. So let's try it again. Close your eyes. Imagine moving your left arm this time. Any way you want. Once you identified that movement, open your eyes, look at your left arm, and now move it exactly how you saw it in your mind. And now answer the question, are you your body or are you the thing that decides how to move it? Our next exercise is even easier. It's just 4 questions. So the first question is, what are you? No wrong answers. What are you? First question, what are you? Some people might say, I'm a person, I'm a spirit, I'm a man, I'm a woman. The answer is human being, right? All your answers are great, but for this exercise, the answer is, I'm a human being. Hope that sits okay with everybody. Hopefully that encapsulates a lot, right? You have the human part, the body, and then you have the being. A human being, right? There's a being in this body. So, the second question, what happens to your body when you leave it? What happens to your body when you leave it? It's always a little difficult to ponder our existence and the end of it, right? But what happens to your body when you leave it? So, anything that's alive and then dies, what happens? It goes back to the earth, right? It disintegrates and eventually becomes dust. So, if our body becomes dust when we leave it, the third question is, what do you bring to your body? So think about it. You're a human being. When you leave your body, here's your body. When you leave it, the body deteriorates, disintegrates, and turns to dust. So what do you bring to your body? If you said life force, you win the keys to the brand new Mercedes. Just kidding. Wish I drove a brand new Mercedes. My mother does. I like to drive her car sometimes. But life force. If this thing, this container, right, when you go to this container, it's here, it's present. But when you leave it, it disintegrates and turns to dust. You bring life force to your body. That's holding it all together. You bring it life. So now the fourth question is the first question. What are you? What are you? If you said life, life force, spirit, eternal spirit, you get the keys to the Lambo, baby. So the Lambo, somewhere in the Bible, I could have sworn it says the last enemy to put under our heel is the fear of death. When we reprogram our stress reaction and we let go of the fear of death that is driving our stress reaction, I must run or fight to stay alive. When we realize and identify with our spirit, we are free. That's it right there. And those simple questions, right? What are you? What happens to your body when you leave it? If your body disintegrates and turns to dust when you leave it, what do you bring to your body? What are you? So that's simple line of questioning. So just pop open like a little light bulb somewhere in the back of your mind and let some new neural nets start to develop. Maybe I'm life force. Maybe I'm not the body. Maybe my brain is a supercomputer that is scared to death, that is over-triggering cortisol, and maybe I could start activating dopamine, pulling that dopamine lever, cha-ching, right? Cha-ching, 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 winner, bing, 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 dopamine, right? You could trigger it. You could take control back. When you identify with the negative thoughts that are tens of thousands, 95% repetitive, 80% negative, just let them pass. They're just clouds going across the sky. When you know you're having those negative thoughts, download the Stress Is Gone app, use the stopper tab, and pull the dopamine lever. Put on the song, sing along, dance like no one's looking, and use the mantra. Use a mantra that you love. I'm alive, I think works great. I am eternal is awesome. I am spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, source, for making me and for this moment, right? So being grateful. But when you do a multitude of activities at the same time, you're going to get a rush of the good stuff. And that's what I want you to have. This default setting, we need an upgrade. And not even to 2.0. We need like a 3.0 or 4.0. That's why I want you to do multiple things at the same time to really blow away all those negative thought clouds, right? Out of the sky, so it's a clear blue sky that you could create what you want. You can allow your expression, your intuition, your inspiration guide your action. Now you're living life on a whole nother playing field, okay? Remember, action overrides the default setting on our brain. Action overrides that default. Kick the cortisol to the freaking curb. You're awesome. Take control back. Take control back. It's right there for you. Just grab the lever, pull it. It's right there. The sooner you start identifying with your spirit, the sooner you'll be free. Remember that. That's the most important message that I have tonight. The sooner you identify with your spirit, the sooner you'll be free. When you start to do that, your identity, your constitution gets stronger and stronger. Your inside, what makes you up as a human being, your foundation, your structure, becomes more solid. Something you could rest your head upon at night. Something you could lean on when things in the world ain't going right. When the world gets turned upside down, you will see things straight. If you're not identifying with your thoughts and you identify with your spirit. Remember the line of questioning. What are you? What happens to your body when you leave it? What do you bring to your body? What are you? So next week, we're going to do part 3, how to stop negative thoughts. We're going to get down and dirty with it, baby. We're going to go down into the source, okay? Remember the stress cycle? We have trauma, we have belief, we have emotions and thoughts. Thoughts are like the 3rd or 4th level byproduct of the trauma. So there's a way to go down the rabbit hole, heal the trauma, which knocks everything else like dominoes. The belief falls like dominoes. That hits on the emotion, that releases like dominoes. And then the thoughts just get set free. And the reason why that happens is the purpose for the belief was to protect us from that trauma happening again. And once you heal the trauma, the belief has no more purpose and it releases. And then the emotions release and the thoughts release. So we're going to discuss that fun process. If you're ready for it, hopefully you are. I think you are. Update regarding the course. This was an exciting week. We have a great bunch of folks in the course, getting a lot of great feedback on the course. And we have a few spots left open. And we added to the special. So, right now, you buy the course, it's $47. Dirt friggin' cheap. 22 videos. And if you just sat through this video, with me of 30 minutes blabbing, imagine that, but even better. Because it's like I'm more focused, right? So, and I'm also teaching you more technique. And we're using the blackboard. And you have handouts. And you have guided meditations. And we're doing the work. This is the most important thing. Some of the feedback that I've gotten so far on the course has been pretty amazing. When people are going through the later modules, especially module 4 and 5, there's 6 modules, it's kind of shocking because you're not just learning something. I'm actually bringing you through the healing process. So you actually start to feel tension release from your body. You actually start to feel old layers of emotion release. And you're like, whoa, what's happening? What's happening is you're healing. That was my whole purpose for the course, to figure out a way to get the healing process into video and package it in this course. And you have it. The cool thing is, it's not just a flash in the pan. You have the course for the rest of your life. And every 3 months, I'm going to be making updates to it, making it better and better and better. So to me, this course is a lifesaver. If you're alive, which I know you are, right? I know I'm alive. It's probably one of the only things I know in this world. I'm alive. It's the only undeniable truth. And you're alive. So if you have a body and you want to learn how to manage and release the stress better, let go of the anxiety, let go of the depression, those haunting old memories, painful relationships, get the course, because now, like I said last week, it comes with 4 Wednesday night workshops. When we are in the workshop, we're going to go down the rabbit hole and we're going to do some laser coaching to release stuff. If you have tension in your heart, your stomach, your solar plexus, your throat, I'll help you express things and get things off your chest. And you're also going to get access to 3 four, three. Three. I got left back in second grade, so my numbers aren't the best. So 3 guided meditations per week. Okay? You get access to that on Zoom. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. All right? So this course is not only like the information that is essential for self-love and self-healing, right? But it also provides the nurturing, the weekly structure that you need to let the tools really soak in and absorb into your cells, into the back of your mind, and into your everyday life. So I encourage you, get the course right now, $47. You'll be on the Wednesday night workshop. It's a 1 hour like kind of group healing session. You'll also have access to 3 meditation classes each week permanently. What's better than that? All right. You deserve it. God bless. Have a great one, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.